Good evening, everyone. If you're watching live, I'm Karina. I'm going to be taking you through a yoga flow that's going to really work into the hips. So working on hip mobility, which is a balance of strength and flexibility. So in yoga, it's not all about trying to get as flexible as you can. You need to balance that out with strength as well. So what we're going to be doing today is that kind of stuff. So really trying to work into opening the hips while building support around the hip joints, so that you have nice, happy, healthy hips. And as always with any kind of yoga class, just do what you can without any judgment and without forcing. So if you find yourself gritting your teeth or losing the breath, then take a moment, maybe drop into child's pose, maybe come out of the posture, just reset, and then come back into the posture. And as always, just be kind to your body. Don't push, and it should be a nice practice for you guys. So we're going to start in child's pose. So let's come into a wide-legged child's pose. So bring the big toes to touch. Send the knees wide. Sit back on the heels. Just reach the hands forward. Bringing forehead to the mat. And just bring your awareness to how your body feels right now and how those hips feel. Are they feeling quite tight, quite open? Can you feel any tension around the hips or anywhere in the body right now? Maybe you're feeling something in the shoulders, the arms, the lower back. And just relaxing your jaw. And just allow your body to be heavy. This is a wonderfully grounding posture. And this is a posture you can drop into at any point during the class if it all becomes a little bit too much. And just bring your awareness now to your breath. Notice the quality of the breath. And remember, the breath is the most important thing about the yoga practice. So complete breath control during the entire class. If you lose the breath, you've lost the practice. I'd rather you come out of a posture to maintain the breath than lose the breath to gain a posture. So just start to deepen those inhales, lengthen the exhales. And then just start to draw your focus inside. And breathe into the upper back between the shoulder blades. And now we just slowly start to bring some subtle movements into the hips. So just think of rocking the right hip forward, dropping it back, rocking the left hip forward, dropping it back. Keeping those breaths long and steady. And just draw your awareness into your hips. Maybe starting to make those movements a little bit bigger. I mean, nothing too crazy, just feeling. So you should feel in most people in the adductors, in the groins. Maybe you feel this posture through the front of the thighs. If you're tight in the quadriceps and the hip flexors. And gently lifting the gaze. Walking the hands towards us. We're gonna pull the toes underneath the body, and come into a squat position. So as always, as you move into your squat, depending on your anatomy in your hips will depend on where your feet are in your squat. If you're a little bit tight and you can't get into full squat, you can always bring hands onto the mat, lifting the heels here, or place something underneath the heels, or try moving the feet a little bit wider. And that sometimes is successful in getting those heels grounded. But again, it doesn't matter how deep you get in your squat. And let's just start to, again, just move from side to side. Start to get some movement into your hips. You're just noticing how the hips feel right now. And taking a little twist. So bringing left hand onto the left knee. Press that knee away. See if you can open the chest up to the ceiling. It doesn't matter how deep you get here. Maybe lifting the gaze. Release and coming into the other side. Left elbow inside of the left leg. Press the right hand onto the right knee. Press that knee away. Yeah, maybe you're lifting the gaze. And let's repeat. Press the left knee away. Again, even if we're here, just working here, this is fine. The heels aren't down and you're leaning into the hands. And then switch other side. And now option to not use hands, option to keep the hands down or hands behind you just to support you a little bit. I'm just going to drop the left knee down towards the mat. Lift the knee up. Drop the right knee down. Knee back up. If you're going well, maybe try without hands. Again, just working the legs into those hip sockets. Just do one more each side. And now just support yourself. Drop the right knee down and then allow the left knee to fall out. So the left hip is in external rotation, the right hip is in internal rotation. And we'll take a little twist. Take the left hand behind the back, right hand onto the knee. Press that right hip forward. So pressing through the front of that right hip and twist, gazing over the left shoulder. And release. Come back to center. Bring hands behind you to help your way back up. And we're just going to do the other side. So dropping the left knee down, dropping the right knee down. Again, just feeling that nice stretch through the hips. Left hand onto the right knee, right hand behind the back. Press the left hip forward. Open a little twist. Gazing over your right shoulder. And releasing, coming back to center. Back into that squat position. And we're just going to lift the bum up slightly. So trying to bring the thighs parallel with the mat now. Take the arms forward, squeeze the glutes. And let's hold for 3, 2, and 1. Sink those hips back down. Relax, relax, relax. Do it again. Inhale to come up. And we'll hold. Squeeze glutes. For 3, press the feet down. For 2, and 1, exhale, release. Last time, inhale. Squeeze glutes, hold. Draw the navel in for 3, 2, and 1. Straighten legs, plant the hands. We'll step the feet back and we'll find our downward facing dog. So those feet hips width apart. Hopefully hips are already feeling pretty warm, ready for the work that's coming up. Feel free to pedal the legs here. As always, as you come into your downward dog, just exploring, noticing the tension in the body. And as always, your knees can be bent in your downward dog, so you find that long spine. And let's drop knees to the mat, going into a tabletop position. So fingers spread as always, palms pressing the mat away, wrap the triceps under, and we're going to go through some cat-cows. So again, this is going to start to move the hips. So flexion, extension, exhale to come into your cat, inhale into your cow. So lifting sit bones, dropping navel, press the heart forward. Exhale, rounding, pressing through the shoulders, really trying to tuck that tailbone under as much as you can. Inhale to lift, exhale to round. Let's do a couple more. If you are really tight in those hips, this is a great thing to do in the morning. And now your option to move wherever you want in your tabletop. So maybe you want to work into those wrists a little bit. Maybe you want to continue to work into the hips. So going through your cat-cows. Or maybe moving in a rotating motion through those hips. So almost between side flexion and cat-cow. You just do what feels good. If you're doing this, go the opposite way now. So almost gyrating. Doing an Elvis, a little bit of Elvis here. And coming back to center, let's tuck the toes under. Lift the hips back and up. Find that downward facing dog again. And lift the right leg towards the ceiling. Finding your 3-legged dog. Pressing back through that right heel, nice and strong through that right leg. Bend the right knee, pull the heel towards the buttock. And again, we're going to just make some rotations with that right hip. So nice and big, nice and controlled. So just keeping the awareness in the body. So knee out to the side, going all the way back in. We'll try to do about 5 each side. Okay, let's go the other way. So 10 each side, 5 forward, 5 backwards. And 5. On the last one, draw the knee in towards the chest, come onto the board of the left foot, find your compression strength, drop the right foot between the hands, and find your runner's lunge. So right knee over the ankle, you're just working through the front of that left leg now. And draw the right hip back, left hip forward and down. Feel the work through that left hip. Straighten the right leg, stretching through the back of the right leg, and press back through that left heel. Stay nice and long through the spine, nice and open through the chest. Then back into that right knee. Plant the hands. Send the right foot back and up. Find your three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold your downward dog. Drop to child's if you wish, or we're going to take a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward, finding your high plank. Exhale to lower down. Drop knees first or come through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into your cobra. Point toes. Elbows draw towards each other. Open the chest. And exhale. Tucking the toes under. Press the hips back and up. Downward dog. Left side, raise the left leg. Three-legged dog first. Drop that left hip down. Press back through the left heel. Deep breathing. Controlled breath. Bend the left knee. And we'll make those rotations with that left hip now. So again, we'll try to do 5 forwards, 5 backwards. That's about 3, 4, 5. Taking it the other way. 5. Keep the breath going. 4. Breathing with that ujjayi breath if it's in your practice. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Come onto the ball of the left foot round the spine. Bring that left foot through between the hands. Finding that runner's lunge left side. Chest nice and open. Left hip pulls back. Right hip presses forward and down. Nice and strong through that right leg. And straighten left leg. And it doesn't have to be fully straight, just until you can feel a stretch through the back of the leg. Again, pull that left hip back and press back through the right heel. Keep space in the body. And bend back into that left knee. Plant the hands. Inhale, press that left foot back and up. Three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold your downward dog. Drop to your child's pose if you feel your body needs to rest. Or inhale, we'll move forward, taking a vinyasa. Exhale to lower down. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog now. Squeezing those glutes. And exhale, downward facing dog. Raise the right leg to the ceiling. Three-legged dog. Point the toe. Open the hip. Drop that right armpit down. Inhaling. And exhale. Bringing the right foot to the outside of the right hand now with control. Finding that lizard lunge. So again, dropping the hips nice and low. Keeping the left hand down, let's open into a twist. Reach the right arm higher. And really pulling that right arm back, so you're opening through the chest a little bit here as well. Bring that right hand down inside of the foot. Inhale, right foot back. Three-legged dog. Exhale, downward dog. Hold your downward dog, or let's take a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward, high plank. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, cobra or into your upward. Exhale, downward. Left side. Inhale, raise left leg. Three-legged dog. Point toe. Open hip. Keep pulling that left armpit down. Don't allow the body to open up. Inhale. Exhale with control. Around the spine, find the core strength. And dropping the left foot to the outside of the left hand now. Dropping those hips low, wide across the chest. And coming into that twist, reach the left arm high. And pull it back. Find that opening through the chest. Left hand drops back down inside of the foot. Inhale, left foot up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Hold your downward dog, or let's take a vinyasa. Inhale, move forward, high plank. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, strong legs. And exhale, downward facing dog. Raising right leg high, three-legged dog. Point toe, open hip. Drive that right armpit down. Inhale. Exhale, foot comes to the outside of that right hand again. Finding that lizard. Reach the right arm high again. Find that twist. If you're going well, drop to the outside of the feet. Keep reaching the right arm high. Stay lifted in the hips and pull the left hip underneath the right. Coming back around, drop that right hand. Inhale, send right foot back and up, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward. Rest in child's or your downward. Or let's take a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale your cobra or your upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Feel free to take a rest at any point if you need to. Point the toe, open the hip. Listen to your body. Drop that left armpit down. Keep the breath going. Make sure you're focusing on that breathing, calming that nervous system. Exhale as you pull that left foot to the outside of the left hand, finding that lizard again. Now let's take that reach. Left arm reaches high. Find that twist. If you're going well, drop in onto the outside of the feet. Stay lifted in the hips. Pull the right hip underneath the left. Drop the left hand down inside of the left foot. Inhale, left foot back and up, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward. Hold your downward. Or let's keep warm with a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward. Exhale to lower down. Inhale your cobra or your upward. And exhale, downward. Raise that right leg again, three-legged dog. Point the toe, open the hip. Inhale. Exhale, bring that right foot again around to the outside of the right hand. Find that lizard. Hopefully warming up those hips, warming up the body. Left hand stays down. Inhale, right arm reaches. Dropping onto the outside of the feet. If that feels good. Again, keep the hips lifted. Pull the left hip underneath the right. And bringing the right hand back to the mat. We're going to pivot around. So the right toes point the top of the mat. Go onto the long side of the mat as we come into our Skandasana. So we want to keep that right heel planted in this posture. You can be up here. This is a Skandasana. You can be here. This is a Skandasana. Just go wherever feels good in your body. So for me, I always like to put my left hand down underneath my left leg, and I like to press my right arm into my right leg a little bit. It just feels nice in my hips. But again, all our anatomies are different, so just find where it feels good for you. You might feel a little bit more work holding it here, no hands, maybe a little bit more work here for you. And let's switch to the other side. So again, make sure that left heel doesn't lift as you come in to the other side. And breathe. Okay, let's walk the hands towards the top of the mat. And step the right foot back and up. Three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold in, drop into child's, or you've guessed it, taking a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, left leg high. Point toe, open hip. Really reach through the toes. Drop that left shoulder down, left armpit down. Inhale. Exhale, left foot comes to the outside of the left hand. And coming into that twist, reaching that left arm high. Stay strong through that back leg. Feel the opening through the upper back here. If you're going well, drop to the outsides of the feet. Keep the hips lifted. Drive the right hip underneath the left. Pull the left hip back. One more breath here. And releasing. Pivot on those left toes. Turn them towards the top right corner of the mat. Find your Skandasana. So we're bending into that left knee. And again, it's whatever Skandasana feels good for you. Holding a couple breaths here. And walk into the other side, bend in the right knee, keep that right heel down. And again, different days, you might want to do different variations of your Skandasana. Maybe you're after a little bit more strength or a little bit more flexibility. So again, it's just knowing what your body needs. The more you practice the yoga, the more you'll know what the body needs. And let's walk those hands forward. Plant the hands, step the left foot back and up. Three-legged dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale, drop knees to the mat. Big toes touch, send the knees wide. Sit back, let's have a rest in our child's pose. Good, and taking the time again to check in on yourself. Are you overly pushing in the practice? Or are you being kind to yourself? Do you need to rest a little bit more? Less vinyasas, more childs. Let's lift the gaze. Bring the knees back underneath the hips. Let's tuck the toes under. Send the hips back and up. And find that downward facing dog again. Send the right leg high, three-legged dog. Not holding it this time. Exhale, bend that right knee. Come onto the ball of the left foot. Draw that right foot through inside of the right hand this time. As we find that high lunge position, get nice and strong. Drop that left hip down. And let's work our way up into my crescent. And just bring hands onto the hips. Tuck that tailbone under. Work through the front of the left hip. That is working strength through that right leg. Let's reach the arms high. Find the length through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, lower the right knee. Inhale, lift it back up. So we're just trying to hover that left knee. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower, hover. And let's take a twist to the right. Left hand onto that right knee, reaching back with that right arm. If you need to plant the knee, plant the knee. Just notice what's happening. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, drop that knee down. Finding a low lunge. Let's work that right knee forward. Bring the hands onto the right knee. Press that right knee away from you. Sink the hips low. Open through the chest. So little back bend here. And releasing. Bring hands to the mat. We're going to do our half split. So left hip over the left knee. Straighten the right leg as much as feels comfortable in your body, in your leg. Add movement if you wish, keep the movement going. Keep space through the body. Maybe you're rolling forward, if that feels good. Maybe you're here, maybe you've got blocks either side of your body for a little bit of stability. Look back to that left foot. You're going to pivot on that left knee and just take that left heel out. So you just want to be able to see that left heel behind you. You may need a block for this posture as we work our way back into Triangle Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. So sinking the hips down. So now we're working on the internal rotation again in that left hip. That right leg is nice and strong. You can stay here. You can fall forward if you wish. A couple more breaths. If that sit bone isn't grounded, just stay upright. Just work on getting that left sit bone down. And release. Bend that right knee. Keep that left leg where it is. Bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the right foot onto the inside of the left leg. So we're in this position. So now external rotation, right hip, internal rotation, left hip. If you're working into your half lotus, you can pick that right foot up and draw it to your half lotus position. Bringing the left hand onto the right knee. If this doesn't feel good, just keep that foot on the inside of the leg and gazing over the right shoulder. So just coming into a twist. If you're going well, maybe you're taking the right hand behind the back. Maybe you're catching the foot. So catching that big toe. Breathe in. Maybe if you're going super well, you're bringing the hand underneath that left knee. So the palm is facing down, the wrist is facing away from you, pressing into that hand as you twist. Okay, don't take it too far, especially if you're new to the practice. Allow the body to open in its own time. And releasing. Bringing that right foot forward again and walking forward, stepping the left foot back, finding that lunge position. So coming into side plank. So start to take that right foot back, start to pivot on the ball of that left foot. You can stack the feet, finding your side plank here. Lifting those hips nice and high. Maybe you're lifting that right leg up. Maybe you want to come into your wild thing. So bending the right knee, dropping the ball of the foot back behind you, and making your way into your wild thing. Pressing those hips nice and high. Maybe you're bringing both feet onto the mat and pressing your hips up. Variation of your wild thing. That's going to work into that shoulder extension in the left arm a little bit more. As we come back around, try to do this with control. So pick that right foot up. Keep that right hand lifted if you can as you pivot around. You're going to try to bring that right foot back up to the top of the mat. Using your leg strength. And hopefully you land back into that lunge position. If you don't, it doesn't matter. And we're going to come into a balance. So step into that right foot. Making our way into our aeroplane. So variation of warrior 3. So firstly, get set up. So pull the right hip back, drop that left hip down, reach back through that left heel. If you're going well, release the hands from the mat and take the hands back. So my palms are facing down. You can have the palms facing down, whatever feels good for you. And then try to find length through the body, space across the collarbones. If you're going super well, maybe trying to straighten that standing leg as much as you can. And slowly, slowly, with control now, bending that right knee. And see if you can plant that left foot down nice and softly. Let's bring the hands to the mat. Step the right foot back. Find your downward facing dog. You can rest here or come to child's. Or we're going to take a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward, high plank. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Raise your left leg, three-legged dog. Not staying here. Exhale, bend that left knee. Come onto the border of the right foot, round the spine. Make space as you bring that left foot through. Finding that lunge position again. Again, just check that right hip is drawing forward and down. And inhale as you come up. Bring hands to hips. And work on pulling that tailbone under. So in your crescent lunge, you don't want to be arching into the back too much here. You really want to be finding length through your spine. Strength through the legs. So get nice and settled in your crescent lunge. Reach those arms high. Inhale. Exhale, lower the right knee down, hover. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower down, hover. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down, hover. Hover that leg. Right hand onto the left knee, reach back. I know it's a lot. Just do what you can. You need to drop that right knee, drop it. Again, listen to your body. Stay with your breath. And inhale, coming back to the front. Exhale, drop that right knee down. Plant the top of the foot on the mat. Finding that low lunge. Let's bring hands onto that left knee. Press the left knee forward. Work those hips down. And maybe taking a little bit of a back bend here if it feels good. Keep those banders engaged. Find opening through the heart. And release, hands to the mat. And working our way into our half splits. Right hip shifts over the knee. You might need to wiggle that left foot forward to find your splits. And again, maybe you're on blocks. Keep that breath going. Are you relaxed? It's really, really important you keep control of the breath. You're calming the nervous system with the breath. Lengthen your exhales. And slowly, slowly, we're going to pivot on that right knee. Look back. See, make sure you can see that right heel just poking out from the outside of that right thigh. And we'll start to move back. Again, you may need a block underneath the hips. Take it nice and slowly. As you make your way into Triangle Ikapada Paschimottanasana. If you are really tight in your internal rotators and this is just too much, come out of the posture, especially if you have pain in your knee. You can use as many bolsters, as many blocks underneath your seat as you need to in this posture. Fold forward if you're going well, or stay upright and just work on bringing that right hip down, especially if you feel that the weight is being thrown over to the left side here. Good, and keeping that right leg exactly where it is. I'm going to bend that left knee, bring the sole of the left foot now onto the inner right thigh. Again, if you're going well, if you're working into your half lotus, pick that left foot up, draw it into your half lotus position, and just be mindful of your knees. Otherwise, we're just taking a twist over the left shoulder. Again, if you're going super well, maybe you're taking the left hand behind the back, maybe you're taking a bind, taking that big toe on the left foot. That's just going to work into the internal rotation in the left shoulder at the same time. Keep breathing. Or maybe you're bringing that right hand underneath that knee, pressing the knee down. The wrist facing away from you. Again, just going where feels good. No pain. I don't like the term no pain, no gain. If there's pain, you shouldn't be doing it. There should be tension, challenge. Should make you sweat a little bit, but no pain. And releasing. That left leg coming forward, and we'll just scoot that way forward. And let's find that lunge again. Left side. So plant the hands, and then we're going to come into that side plank. So start to lift that left foot up, pivot on that right foot. And you're stacking the feet. If that's how you do your plank, again, take whatever variation feels good for you. You can bring that left foot in front. Lift those hips high. Reach the left arm high. If you're going well here, maybe you're lifting that left leg. And maybe you're coming into your wall thing, or you're staying in your side plank. So dropping that left foot, pressing the hips high, opening up the chest. Or again, maybe you're bringing both feet flat onto the mat, lifting up and working into that shoulder extension through that right shoulder, trying to bring the arm or the shoulder onto the back of the body. And now with control, start to make your way around. Lift that left foot up and see if you can take it all the way back to the top of the mat with control. Not easy. See how you get on. Plant those hands when you're there. And we're coming into our airplane. So start to shift the weight into that left foot. Lifting the right foot off the mat. Finding your balance. You can keep the hands down if it's a little bit too challenging here. Little bend in that left knee to begin with as we set up. Drop the right hip down. Press back through the right heel. If you're going well, finding your balance. Arms reach back. Neck nice and long. Open through the chest. And then starting to straighten that standing leg as best as you can. Put a little bend back in that left knee with control. Starting to make your way back down. Planting that right foot. Finding that lunge. Plant the hands. Inhale, send the left foot back. So meet the right. Again, you can find your downward. You can find your child's. Or we're going to take a vinyasa. Inhale as you move forward. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, cobra, or your upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Winding it down now. Inhale, send the right leg high. Exhale, bend the right knee. Bring the knee, the shin onto the mat. Setting up for our swan pose. So the knee closed. Don't go into pigeon just yet. Use whatever blocks, bolsters, cushions you need underneath that right thigh. Square the hips, the chest, as best as you can to the top of the mat. Really think of pulling that left hip forward and down. And breathe, relax, relax, relax. Option 1, to stay here. Option 2, to bend that left foot. Maybe you're taking hold of that left foot with the left hand. And maybe you're here, this is all good. If you're going well, pull the heel in. Maybe you're hooking the elbow, or putting the foot inside of that elbow crease. Maybe you're here. If you're going super well, maybe you're taking your bind and coming into your mermaid. It's a little bit challenging. Some days I can do this depending on how much cycling I've done, how much running. Some days, not so good. If it doesn't feel good in your body, just don't do it. It's all good. Open the chest. Work through the front of that left hip. Keep pressing that hip forward. And releasing. And we'll start to move more into a pigeon posture now if your hips allow. If you are really tight in the hips, just stay here. This is fine. Otherwise, just start to bring that right foot forward. Start to bring the shin a little bit more parallel with the top of the mat, and the knee starts to move out behind the right hand. And again, sinking those hips low. Keep pressing through the ball of that right foot in your pigeon just to keep some activation in the leg. So it's kind of a lifting in the ankle. The outside of the ankle should be wanting to lift off the mat if you have enough engagement through the ball of that foot. Option to stay on the hands, working from here. Option to lower onto the elbows. And take rest. You focus on the breath. Use your ujjayi breath to keep the focus on the sound. And send your inhale to where you feel the tension in this posture. And stay in a couple more breaths here. And coming back onto the hands. Let's tuck the back toes under. Let's send the right foot back to meet the left, find your downward dog. Let's take a vinyasa if you wish. Inhale as you move forward. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, cobra or your upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Raise the left leg high, inhale. Exhale, knee, shin comes onto the mat. Find your swan pose, left side. Again, square those hips up. Square the body up. Are you still in control of the breath? I know I say it all the time. I've been in so many yoga classes where the teacher doesn't even mention the breath. This isn't an aerobics class. This is yoga. They're very different. And if you're going well here, maybe you want to bend that right knee. Maybe you want to reach back, take hold of the foot. Maybe you're hooking that foot into that elbow crease. Maybe you're taking a bind. Open through the chest. Keep sending that right hip forward. Keep the work in the body. Try not to escape the posture as best as you can. Stay here a couple more breaths. And releasing. Stay in your swan if this is enough for you. Otherwise, we're moving into that pigeon. Left foot wiggles forward. Left knee comes behind that left hand. And again, use as many blocks, as many bolsters underneath that left hip as you need to. Be mindful of your knees. Please, if you feel any discomfort in those knees, in that left knee, just come out. Or just bring that left heel a little bit closer to the right hip. And again, option to stay on your hands. Option to make your way down. And again, just think about that pressing through the ball of the left foot, seeing if you can lift the ankle a little bit from the mat to keep that engagement. Notice how it changes the stretch through the hip. You can bring elbows onto a bolster, onto the mat if you wish. Soften the forehead, the face. Now it can be quite an intense posture. So we're using all our yogi powers to stay focused. Utilizing the breath. Practicing patience, tolerance, acceptance. And there's a reason there are no mirrors inside a yoga room, or there shouldn't be any mirrors inside a yoga studio. Because it's not about the external, it's all about what's happening inside. We don't want to get caught up in how we look on the outside or compare ourselves to anybody in the yoga room. It's all about what's happening inside and how we're coping, how we're dealing with what's happening. Are we trying to escape? Or are we trying to find peace and comfort in the posture, in the challenge of the posture? And we'll start to come back onto the hands now. Tuck the back toes under. Send that left foot back and up, finding your downward facing dog. Or let's find a vinyasa. Inhale to move forward, high plank. Exhale again, listen to the body. If the body doesn't want the vinyasa, don't do it. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And drop the knees onto the mat. I'm going to come into frog pose. So you're going to keep the hips over the knees and start to widen your knees. Come this way. And it can be a really, really intense posture, so be mindful. And sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable for the knees as well, this posture. So you may need a blanket, especially if you're practicing on a hard floor, use a blanket. As the knees start to go out, if they start to go wide, turn the feet out. So little frog feet behind you. So insides of the feet on the mat. And option one is just to stay here. You can start to rock forwards and backwards. Quite a nice stretch for the inner groins. Again, can be quite intense. You can drop elbows if you wish. If you're super open in those hips, maybe your legs, your inner thighs are resting on your mat. And if that is you, maybe you want to come up a little bit more and really focus on drawing the knees towards each other so you're starting to build a little bit of strength. Maybe you're a little bit too flexible in the groins. So you're going to just being honest with yourself, noticing how you feel, noticing where you need to work. For me, if I find students in, say, a wide-legged forward fold, if I feel that they're just flat, they're pancakes, they're flat on the mat, I will get them to lift themselves up a little bit and hold themselves there. Because if you're flat, if you're pancaking, there's nothing going on. There's no work there. So always make sure you can feel the work in a posture. And now I want you to push those hips back to the point where you feel the most tension. And we're just going to hold it there. Breathe for 5. Just hold. For 4. Soften face. Relax into it. For 3. 2. And 1. Coming back onto the hands. And this is the hard bit. Slowly bringing those legs back together. Maybe it's a little bit of a tickle as you come out of that posture. And we'll just make our way down onto our bones. Okay, let's come to seated. Let's come to cross-legged. And hopefully in your cross-legged position, hips nice and open. As always, sit on a block or a blanket if you need to. Let's bring our hands into Chin Mudra. Let's just close the eyes. And let's just be silent and still, just for a moment. Keeping those ujjayi breaths going. And when you're ready, we'll start to make our way down into our final posture Shavasana. So taking your heels as wide as your mat and come to lie down with control if you can. And then take up space with your arms, palms facing up. And as always, if you have a blanket, put your blanket over you. Keep that heat trapped in, energy from your practice. Hoodie or socks if you have those. And we'll rest in stillness. Just allow the body to melt into your mat. Let go of the Ujjayi breath. Let go of the practice. Yoga is about staying in the present moment, in awareness. So if any thoughts have come up from the practice, just let that go. And as always, your option now to stay in your Shavasana a little bit longer if you wish. Or we're going to take a deep inhale. Exhale the breath, completely connect navel to the spine. Inhale the breath into your heart space. Exhale the breath into the fingertips and the toes. Start to wiggle the fingers and toes and bring movement back to your body. Rotating your wrists, your ankles, moving your limbs. And bring your feet, your legs together. Take your arms overhead for a full body stretch. Enjoy that stretch. And draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And as always, just taking a moment to offer gratitude for all you've been given so far in your life. For the love of your family, of your friends. Gratitude for the health of your body that you have. all your limbs, everything's working. You're here, you're able to practice. And rock to your right hand side when you're ready. And join me again in a comfortable seated cross-legged position. Bringing our hands into Anjali Mudra at our heart center when we're there. Reconnecting to the breath. We'll finish with an Om and a mantra. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hare Om. Raising hands to head for kindness in our thoughts to ourselves and to others. To our hearts for kindness in our actions, and to our lips for kindness in our words. From my heart to your heart, always. Namaste. So thank you for practicing with me. I hope you all feel a little bit more open in those hips, a little bit stronger in the hips as well, and a little bit calmer in the mind. As always, if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up so it helps with the algorithm on YouTube. If you didn't like the video, don't. It's all good. And if you think anybody you know might enjoy this class or any of the other classes I've done, please share my content. And as always, if you are financially stable enough to make a small donation, please do so. The link is always in the description of the videos. It won't be in this one, but you can go to any other video and you'll find the link to my PayPal if you want to make a little donation, but only if you're financially stable. Otherwise, enjoy for free. And I will be back with you tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, for our Ashtanga. That's gonna be Sally. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, just what your hips needed. They are a little bit tight at the moment. I think a lot of people are suffering, having to work from home. So yeah, this is why I thought I'd do a nice hip one today. And hopefully it sets you up a little bit for the week. And there's always, you can always come back to it. But if you liked it and you thought, oh yeah, I feel good, you can always come back to it at a later date and redo it. And there's also other hip opening classes that I've done on my channel as well. But yeah, try to look after yourselves. If you are working from home, make sure you get up and go for a little walk so you're not sitting too long. And stay safe, everyone. Stay well, stay sane. And hopefully, they told me that I might not be back at work until September. Oh, dear me, it's a long time away, but I don't know, just gotta ride out these waves and I hope for the best. So yeah, stay safe, everyone. I hope you're all well, and I shall see some of you tomorrow evening. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Love to you all.